Okay, gears off. Now, I moved it a little bit when I took it off, but as you can see, the pin is pointing straight up. That's exactly what we want. We want the pin to point straight up because that's where the mark on the timing gear was. So now that this is where I got it and I have the chain off, I'm going to remove the valve train on both sides. Once the valve train is removed, we'll pull this cap and we will spin it over until all the lifters are up, and then it'll be time to swap the cam in and out. Okay, power train, valve train, I should say the valve train is off. The cam plate is off. The cam plate is a T30, okay? Do not, I repeat, do not use anything other than a T30. Some will fit, a T27 will fit, and you might be able to use it, but you will possibly strip these out. So T30, break it loose by hand, and then you can use a power tool to shoot them out. Now, I use the vice grips, and I put it on, and I do this, okay? So let's see if I can try to mimic it. I don't know if I can push any of these lifters back in or not. This one might be. Okay, let's see if we can mimic it, because I already spun it over to test it. See that? Them lifters all pop back out like that? That's what you want to do. You want to spin this around as many times as you can to make sure that you aren't having the lifters drop back down to the cam. So let me push these two back down to the cam again. See, they both popped out. Do this as many times as you want. Do it till you think there's no oil left. Just do it so that way all the lifters are up, because if you have to pull the heads off, it's gonna suck. You know, yeah, it's all out in the open now, so whatever, but you know, then you got to get head gaskets and you got to torque everything down properly. So this is going to be the best way about it. So get the new cam ready to go, get it all lubed up, slide this out best you can, throw the other one in right away, because from there we can put the timing back on and we can start putting it back together. And then once front of the motor's back together, at that point, then I'll do the springs. Quick video here so you can kind of see what's going on. See that? We pulled the cam out. All the lifters are hanging up. So, you know, this is your time to shine. Slide it through nice, and you know, make sure you don't bang them down. Don't be spinning the cam. Try to get it all the way back and then spin it around. There's no point in screwing around on it right now. We have a big issue here because this cam is not for this engine. Okay, everybody. This is mid cam install video. I got halfway through it to realize that the customer bought a cam for a completely different vehicle, and it didn't fit. So this is the continuance of it, as we are going to, the new cam finally came in after a week and a half, because you know, we had to figure out which one that he actually needed, and now we're going to install it right now. It is going to be, see if I can get it to come in clear here. It is going to be, I don't know if I got it to come clear or not. It is ComCam HRT for the 5.7 Hemi. This cam came highly recommended from ComCam. It is very similar to the XFI 273 that he wanted, which was not for this generation of Hemi. So the next step is to put the cam in here. You can see that all the lifters are still sitting up nice inside the motor, so that is good. Basically from here we're just going to lube the cam up, slide it in, and then we can start reassembling everything. So the cam's back in. You can see the assembly lube there. Now if you're going to grab this and turn it, don't grab really hard. You don't want to score the crap out of it or anything like that. You can see the cam turns nice. Now remember, there's no the lifters are in, but there's no valve train on, so you can spin this around all you want. I got assembly lube on it. I like to spin it around, get all the assembly lube, make sure everything's covered in it. I put assembly lube on all the lobes of the cam as well. So, you know, the next step here is going to be putting the cam retainer on place, cam plates, thrust plate, whatever you want to call it. That's going to go back on. The 4 screws. I won't give you guys any torque specs just because you're better off looking up the exact motor that you have rather than just using a random number that some guy gave you on YouTube. So the cam plate goes on. After the cam plate goes on, we need to put the gear on the cam and turn it to match it where we had it before, which was, I believe, the line was facing straight up, if I remember correctly. Once that's lined up, you can then hook the chain in and make sure that the timing marks are in the correct spot this time. And put that on. Once that's on, this can go back on. So this is the chain tensioner, I guess you could call it. I used a piece of 3/32 rod in order to hold it in place. 2 10mm bolts. So this gets screwed back on, and then once this is screwed back on, I believe it's like this, you can pull the rod out and it will tension the chain. So I will do that quick and then I will be back. I forgot to mention that you need to install the cam phaser for the VVT cars. So you put the block in over the pin, tighten this down till it's flush, and then give it a full turn. Once you do that, you flip it over, you take a T25, you loosen this one turn, and the rest of these you can pull out. Okay, the one directly to the left is going to have a pin in it. It needs to go back in that hole. The rest of these are just normal bolts. Once those are out, you can rotate this off, and the cam limiter goes right here with the cutout facing the phaser itself. You just drop right in. Once it's in, you slide this back, Loctite all these with blue Loctite, and tighten all these down to 14 foot-pounds, and then it can get installed on the motor. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Now remember to remove the cam phaser tool, which is used to take pressure off of this pin. This is that screw that's got the pin in it. Remember to take that off. You know, you can see here that the timing is correct. The chain's in the correct spot this time. Tensioner's back on. Everything's where it needs to go. It's nice and tight. You know, from here, the next step is to put the new gasket on. So we can put this cover back on. Once this cover's back on, I'm going to move to installing the new springs and push rods, because I still have room that I can get in here. It's easier than having to bend over and break my back over the front of the car. Okay, so for those of you who haven't done it yet, go ahead after the, I don't even know if you want to call it timing cover. After the timing cover is put on and installed properly, tightened down, install the alternator, 3 15mm long bolts, install the AC bracket, or the air conditioner, which is a stud, then 2 black 13mm bolts. I went ahead and put the water pump on right away, which was all 13mm bolts besides one. There's one 15 right here. Then after that, I have the harmonic balancer, and I have this sweet tool from Summit Racing, which is for installing them. In the past, we use a block of wood, we tap them on, tap them on, tap them on, tap them on, and then we use the bolt to put them on. But that can wreck the threads and kind of damage stuff, so we don't want to do that. So I got this tool from Summit. Now, obviously, hold on for a second here. More than likely, you are not supposed to use an impact on this. Don't care. I will buy a new one if I wreck the tool. So, see, it's already, socket's already too long. Gross. So, inch and a quarter socket. I already put a socket in here behind this because I already knew that this tool was just gonna be too long. Hold on a second. Get my impact back on here. Not gonna work. So I guess we're gonna have to do it the adult way. Tighten it down as much as we can. And then obviously when you get to the end, you're gonna want to torque it to the correct torque specs for the harmonic balancer itself. I do not think that I removed the spark plugs from this motor yet, so I will be able to get this decently tight before the motor tries to turn over. You can watch in the back here. I don't know if you can see it. That's what we're watching. You can't see it, but we're watching that to see if I can get it. Okay, so that's tight. So from there, you need to torque it down. Once that's torqued down, you obviously put these back on. And then from there, we are going to move to doing the valve train itself.